Hold on a second. We live yet?
Yes, I just hit live. We should be going live now.
Okay. All right. So, anyways, welcome to the podcast. We got Jenny D. Anthony for United Row and Anna McLean on, and we got a. I mean, we're so grateful to have them as a guest tonight, and we're going to talk a little bit about Clemson football, basketball, and what's been going on. Basically, headed over the Gator Bowl. Is that an echo to you?
No, I have no echo.
I have an echo. Okay. So, anyways, we're 9-0 in basketball, and things just look a little bit different this time. We're actually ranked 13th in the nation, and as we're getting into basketball, a lot of things going on. We've got Gator Bowl coming up on the 30th, playing Kentucky, and we want to welcome a couple of new sponsors. We got Mr. Knickerbockers, we got Wake and Night, we got Anderson Ford, Anderson, and so we're just kind of excited about that are coming on board, and we just want to kind of introduce Jenny and Anna and tell us a little bit about your journey and how you got here.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for having us, Josh. So we are Team
You're welcome.
United
Sorry
Row,
about the technical difficulty.
and we are both Clemson alum and Clemson graduates, having rowed in 2014 to 2017 and 2018. And we are currently preparing to row 2,800 miles across the Pacific Ocean from California to Hawaii. So really excited for this journey upcoming this summer, June 8th, 2024. And as we prepare for this challenge, we are really looking for Clemson community involved and raise money for Clemson's Hear Her Roar campaign, which is all about propelling the future of women in sports, leadership, and education.
Awesome. That is, I'm. When I heard about you guys' story, I was just like dumbfounded because I was just like, who rows in the ocean?
A little different from Lake Hartwell.
Yeah, I bet so. Now you guys are going to be attempting to be the youngest and the fastest to do it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So this is.
Now, has anybody attempted this before?
Yeah, there have been crews who have done this. 2013 was actually the first year ever that the world's toughest row had this race. So we'll be going as the second year this organization is having this race. And there are records out there for female crews. So we'll definitely be, competing, having a great time, and seeing what we can do out there.
Nice. Now, like, how do you actually, prepare for this? Like, is there a certain training program that you're having to do?
Yeah, so preparation is key because we are rowing 2,800 miles across the Pacific. This is a huge endeavor we have in front of us. And it's not like you can just go and row for 60 days and train in the ocean. So really, the first time we feel what it's like to be out there in the pitch black nights and amongst 40 to 60 foot waves and battling like 27 knot winds, it's going to be when we actually set off. So really preparation is essential because we need to prepare as much as we possibly can to get the feel of what it will be like out there in the brutal ocean. There are a few ways we're preparing. So obviously our physical preparation, which requires a lot of training. I'm grateful to Jenny, who's put together a physical training plan for us to make sure we're strong and also very flexible and mobile. You're out there and the boat tends to be rocking around and moving in ways that we don't tend to move. So it's basically very important that we are adaptable to that environment. The second way is preparing our mental strength and that mental toughness. It's going to be monotonous, isolating, boring at times, and we're going to be very lonely out there. So making sure that we have everything on board to keep ourselves entertained as well as each other. And then last but not least, our actual boat itself. So preparing that with the equipment that we need to survive out there for 60 days.
Nice.
That's
Yeah, I
amazing.
can't imagine the type of training
Y'all were
that would
going
take.
basically from California to Hawaii,
Yeah.
and 60-foot waves, 60 sharks, everything in between.
I was actually
Amazing.
supposed to go to Hawaii for our wedding anniversary, right at the heart of COVID. So I haven't been able to go to Hawaii. So I'm a little jealous.
You can come celebrate our arrival.
Yeah. We'll have a tiger flag there. You can hold it up. And
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now you guys attended Clemson. You were part of the rowing team, and you guys are now graduated. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's awesome. And you know, I kind of read a little bit about you guys, and it seems like your rowing coach was very fond of you guys, and you were like that dynamic duo, if you will.
I love how you describe that dynamic duo.
But
Y'all meet in college?
go ahead, Josh.
Did y'all meet in college?
Yeah, so we met at university. Anna came from the UK, and we met on the Clemson rowing team, essentially. And really, you know, Anna was that teammate that I could count on if she was in my boat, if she was on the erg next to me. I knew we were going to go fast, we were going to go hard, and we were going to go far. But I also knew we were going to have a lot of fun doing it as well. And that's one thing that really excites me for this challenge with Anna is it is going to be like so boring at times. Your life is literally rowing, eating, and sleeping. And there's going to be, you know, the beautiful sunsets and the waves and hopefully we'll see some wildlife out there. And those are all key moments on that journey. But the vast majority of it is a relatively monotonous journey of, you know, rowing, putting in those hours, shift on and shift off, and being able to find light in those situations and just make the most of them, whatever they are. Definitely Anna's the person I would want in my boat for that. And she comes with a lot of experience having rowed the Atlantic. So that's has been really huge in our preparations, is just having that wealth of knowledge and in all of her experiences.
Thanks, Jenny.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I think in one of the articles I read, it said that you and your brother rode from the United States to Europe. Is that correct?
So my brother and I, we rode actually the opposite direction of the Atlantic. So from the Canary Islands, which is just off of Spain, 3,000 miles to Antigua.
Okay.
And
I had it backwards.
we actually set off 4 years ago yesterday. And I don't know if anyone has the Clemson calendar at home where it has a fun fact of the day, but I didn't even know this. And my friend was flicking through and she sent me a picture that was the fun fact for yesterday. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah. And
nice.
Clemson really does hold a special place in both of our hearts, obviously going to Clemson and being student athletes and representing and wearing that the paw print with pride. But Jenny missed out that we were not only teammates, but also roommates. So I had the luxury of living with Jenny for quite a while. And I'm a bit nervous, though, going on a tiny boat with her for 60 days, because whilst we were roommates at Clemson, she often played quite a few pranks on me and my other roommates. So if any Clemson listeners out there know of any good pranks that I can get Jenny back with whilst at sea, safe ones.
Only tell me, not Anna, though.
Then let us know. But yeah, I'm just grateful for the whole community, and especially being from England, it was incredible to have such hospitality and everyone just welcoming myself as a foreigner as such to America and to Clemson.
Yeah, as the old saying is, there's something about them hills.
Definitely.
So one of the questions I got to know is, so I don't know how big this boat is. I tried to figure out I tried to Google this earlier, like what kind of boat this thing's going to look like. And as far as your supplies, like I know in one of the articles it said you guys are going to be bringing, I think, a desaltizer. Is that correct?
Yeah, so our boat is 24 feet long, and it's basically your normal rowing boat, but outfitted for the ocean. So it sits a bit higher on the water, and there's also a small cabin in the stern and the bow of the boat. If you think of the size of a bathtub, it's about, a bathtub, and then you put a bathtub on top of that. That's about the size of the cabin.
I was going to
That
say
cabin,
a 24-foot boat's like a green bean in a big pond.
yeah, you're pretty easily a drop in the ocean. But yeah, that cabin is watertight and airtight. That's really important because that means our boat is able to self-right should it capsize, which is, very possible out there as we're facing those huge waves. But that also means it's stuffy confines. But that is where we will be sleeping, as well as where we'll store a lot of our equipment.
Okay.
On board our boat, we'll essentially have everything we need to survive. So that boat, it's our home for those 60 days. You had mentioned our desalinator, so we'll actually be taking the water from the ocean and desalinating it as we go for our drinking water, because we simply cannot bring enough water on our boat without, sinking it. And then food, we'll have all of that on board. There's no, unfortunately, no Uber Eats, no convenience store stops along the way. So we're expected to burn about 10,000 calories a day just because we are rowing nonstop. So food that's, really high in calories and quite light. So that means a lot of dehydrated foods will be primarily what we're eating as throughout the crossing.
Oh, wow. So basically the food that you're bringing is like dehydrated type food. It's nothing's really going to be fresh in a sense.
Right. Yeah.
I just can't imagine. Now, what happens if there's an emergency? Like, is there like another boat somewhere off that's like within reach?
So technically there is a support yacht, but this support yacht can be 4 to 5 days away from help. So we actually will likely not see it the entire trip. We are out there fully self-supported, and we need to make sure we have everything on our boat. So like Jenny said, the food, our water maker, make sure our equipment's working. And then also some fun luxury items, things that remind us of home and our friends and family and everyone who's supported us along the way.
Well, I'm interested to find out about some of the pranks that might be done now.
We'll have to have a call from the middle of the Pacific and give you an update on that.
Yeah, that's another question too that kind of brings up is, the navigational side of things. Like, I'm assuming there's some type of an equipment on there that's kind of keeping you on track.
Yeah, so this isn't your standard race. Most races, you have a race course and you're following some sort of guidelines. In this case, we're given a point A and we're given a point B, and we're told to get there. And it's the quickest way is certainly not a straight line. We want to factor in the currents, the wind, in order to, be strategic in how we're getting there. So we will have our navigation plan, which, we'll be plotting waypoints as we go using GPS, and we'll have an auto helm on our boat, which will help with steering. And if that goes down and we lose batteries, we will resort to foot steering. However, that's certainly a last resort. But as we go, we will be factoring in, the conditions. So we might need to adjust for the wind or the current and adjust our heading as we go to really make sure, we're working with the conditions as opposed to against them as much as possible.
Yeah, the only thing I think I would fear the most is an out of nowhere type storm that kind of comes in, because it's not like you can just steer away from it and go around it.
Exactly. So if you think of sailing boats, they can get the weather, and if a bad storm's coming, they can just redirect their course. we are so slow. Our average is about 3.2 knots is our average speed. So we're not able to divert our course whatsoever. That being said, if we do encounter a storm or even just bad weather and bad conditions, we'll try our very best to keep rowing through that. Hopefully it's at least favorable in terms of helping us in the right direction. And then if not, if it actually becomes too much of a risk to switch, because we actually rode 2 hours on, 2 hours off the whole way across. So we'll get about 90 minutes sleep at a time, the most amount of sleep for the entire 60 days, which is crazy. Wow. Because if you think on land, like you sleep 12 or 8 hours during the night and then you work during the day and have fun. And so, yeah, I don't think that shift pattern would really work on land, but out there at sea,
Yeah, I can't imagine like just the physical abuse that you're going to have to take. Not only that, you got the mental side of things. Like, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. Like, I'm
yeah, you're
hard to imagine you two trying to do this. Like,
yeah,
we need to bring our boat up to Clemson.
Yeah, yeah, that would be awesome. Like, do a little tour of the boat. Yeah, that'd be great. Mm-hmm. You know, like I was just sitting here thinking, like, man, I get winded just coming up my stairs, and I can't imagine rowing 2 hours on and 2 hours off.
Wow.
I do have a comment here.
What's the exact date?
The Facebook name of this person, but it just says Facebook user. It says, how many miles do you plan to row each day?
So we'll be planning on between 50 and 60. On a good day, if there's really good conditions, we might do more, like 70 or 80. Hopefully no less than between 50 and 60.
Nice.
It's really that first third of the race that are going to be the toughest conditions. So as we're pushing out from California, the currents really want to push you south and back in towards California. So we're anticipating that first third of the race to really be the toughest conditions we're going to face during our crossing.
Yeah. And people are able to track us. So whilst we're out there in the middle of the ocean, we actually have a tracker on our boat, which updates every 4 hours. That link is on our website, which is www.unitedrow.org. And you'll just be able to click on that. You'll see our speed, you'll see our course, the distance we have traveled, and then also distance to finish. Yeah, so definitely.
I was going to write that down. I'll have to remember that. www.unitedrow.com. Is that correct?
.org.
.org. Excuse me.
Yep. No worries. Nice. And we set off on the 8th of June next year. So the link will be there in June, ready for the race start.
So you guys are almost what, 9 months away, I believe, if I counted correctly. I don't do math very well in my head.
6 months. So it's coming. It's coming quick.
A little too quick.
How much do you guys train a day? Like, are y'all doing this every day? Like, y'all training every day? I think we lost Josh somewhere.
Yeah, physical training is pretty much every day. It's a lot of it is on land just because it is, quite hard to find the time and find the, to get our boat out on the water. But yeah, a lot of training on land and then as much training as possible out on the water. So we actually just took our boat out on the water for the first time a couple of weeks ago and did our first full day out on the water and are planning some longer sessions in the upcoming months. So really excited for that. And then aside from all of the physical training, Anna had mentioned it, but there's a lot of other aspects of this race beside the physicality. So, getting our boat equipped is hugely important because ultimately it is a survival exercise as much as it is, a physical exercise. So making sure we are technically sound and we have not only the physicality, but also all of the required skills and certifications to even do the race. That's a huge component of it as well. And then also fundraising. So it is not a cheap thing to do. It costs us about $200,000 to get to the start line. And that includes, our boat, all of our equipment, training and certifications, and race registration. And then on top of that, we are fundraising for Hear Her Roar. So we are looking to raise as much as possible for that campaign and really give back to other females, and give them the opportunity to hopefully, pursue athletics and pursue different leadership opportunities at Clemson. So a lot of our time is also spent on the fundraising side of things through, corporate sponsors or individual donations. All of that makes a huge difference in helping us get to the start line.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things that as a Clemson fan, I actually grew up in 6 Mile, South Carolina. I live now in Fort Mill, South Carolina, but I never heard of the Hear Her Roar until I met you guys or heard about you guys. And I was like, wow, that is such a great thing for the university and the athletics department. I just think that's like a really cool thing. So I really appreciate you guys being part of that and promoting that.
Yeah, it's amazing. And if it wasn't for scholarship, both Jenny and I wouldn't have been able to attend Clemson, let alone be on the rowing team and student athletes. And we just really feel passionate about giving back to our alma mater and our Clemson alumni and allowing other females who have that dream to be a student athlete and represent their school at the top level, and actually give back that opportunity to females to do that through facilities, through scholarship, through training, academic resources, everything that we were so grateful to have ourselves.
So I do have another question here, and this is coming from Ritter Honeycutt, is asking, which do you think is harder, the physical or mental aspect?
I would say definitely mental. When you're out there at sea, you become the most raw person in the world. Like when a challenge presents itself, you can't just hide and just go for it to go away and hope for it to go away. Like you actually have to face that challenge head on. And so you become this bigger person. Like your body will keep on going way longer than your mind ever will. Your mind will quit and say, no, I can't do this. Why am I out here? It'll question everything. It'll wish that you were at home with your friends and family, and wish that you could just go grab some Chick-fil-A and things like that. But the reality is your body will keep going. So we need to make sure we can push through that mental barrier, and trust that our physical state will keep us going.
Awesome. Give me 1 second here. I'm trying to get Josh back in here.
So we're actually, just while you're doing that, we're actually planning a training row from Jacksonville, Florida, all the way up to Charleston, South Carolina. And this will likely be in March. So we'll have to share further details of this. But if there are any listeners out there in Charleston, or even a drive away from Charleston, it would be epic for you guys to come down when we finish that about 3 to 5 day training row and see our boat, check it out. We are currently looking for sponsors, and we're hoping to raise enough money, which is $2,000 from the Clemson community, to get the Tiger Paw on our boat, and really represent that pride and that bleed orange, as the whole network is called.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
We can use some orange on our boat. There's a lot of pink right now, but it needs a paw.
We'll paint the Pacific Ocean orange.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Josh back in. It's for some reason it said it kicked him off, and so I'm trying to re-invite him. So I don't know if it was making my screen go black or not. Yeah, I love that. I think a lot of orange is great. You can maybe splash a little purple in there too, but orange is, always been my favorite color ever since I was a kid. So
Perfect.
But so how long is that going to take to go from Charleston to Jacksonville? Like, what's the estimated time for that?
So it really depends. Likely around 3 to 5 days, just depending on how fast we're going. Also, if we want to, do some drills while we're out there. So there are things aside from rowing we need to practice when we're on the water, such as man overboard drills, mayday calls, using our vegan devices. So taking that time to not only row, but also do some drills out there as well.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I guess, as someone who doesn't do a lot of rowing, I really didn't think about a man overboard drill. That's not a bad idea. I think that's, I've done some kayaking, and you had to practice that rollover deal. So, that makes sense.
Do you get seasick?
So just to talk about you guys is on the Clemson rowing team. I'd love to know what is your most fondest memory on the rowing team, and either one can go first. It doesn't matter. Kind of put you on the spot a little bit, didn't I?
I honestly have to say some of my fondest memories were racing days. And these were usually, so seat race, for those of you who don't know rowing super well, is basically you have all your boats lined up, you race to a point, and then you switch one person in the boat, and then you race again. And this is really how they would determine, is that person slowing down the boat? Or are they making the boat faster? Because as we've all heard the saying, ergs don't float. So your erg scores don't necessarily translate to how fast you are on the water. So this is a way to, usually those erg scores are taken and they're used to develop, the seatings in the boat. But then once that's done, you really need to confirm that those erg scores are substantiated by how fast the boat is actually moving. So some of those days, were just so fun and so competitive. And that's something I've always loved. I love that team atmosphere. You're in that boat and you make a huge impact, but ultimately, you have to be 100% in sync with everyone in that boat. But if one person is, even just a little bit out of sync, then you're slowing down that boat and you're impacting it. So rowing really is this really unique sport where there's so much of that individual component, but still ultimately that team component that overarches it all. So just thinking back to rowing, those are some of the most fun days, is just being out on the water early in the morning, seeing the sunrise, and getting after it with our teammates. Just a fun group of ladies to do that with.
Nice. I think the only thing, Tom, I've ever seen in a sense a rowing competition is I think I saw Harvard once on TV doing a thing, and I was just like, oh wow, look at these guys. It was almost like a symphony. They were just so in harmony with how they were going. And I actually got to take a trip to Boston 2 summers ago, and we kind of walked over to the Harvard University and got to take a tour and everything, and I got to see their whole rowing center, and it was pretty amazing. So
that's so cool.
Form and technique.
I didn't even know Clemson had a rowing team. So don't hate me, but I just, when I heard about this, I was like, oh wow. I was like, but that makes sense. The lake is right there.
It's a great spot to have a rowing team, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So to change your podcast to football, baseball, basketball, and rowing -bowl or something.
I know the next time I get down to Clemson, I'm definitely going over to the area where the rowing is just to kind of take a look. Cause I don't know. I love boats. I love water. Like I said, I grew up on Hartwell, and, I just love everything about it. And I've been in a canoe before, rowing it myself. So I know how hard it can be. I always have trouble getting it to turn like I want to. Yeah. But, well,
Anna can attest, I need to work on my foot steering a bit. We took the boat out the first day, and I was just zigzagging all over, and I was like, these poor other boats, they're probably like, what is this girl doing? But yeah, I need a bit of practice on my foot steering.
So the boat that you guys are going to be in, it's not like a normal row boat where there's the word went right out my head. The thing to turn it, there's not somebody with a handle turning it, right?
So we don't have a coxswain, which is usually the tiny person that sits in our boat and steers us. we do have, as Jenny mentioned earlier, the foot steering capabilities. So we have a rudder. We're able to steer that way, but hopefully we'll be able to use our auto helm or auto tiller, which we plug in our course or our heading. So I don't know, 275 degrees west. And then based on that, it'll steer us on course to Hawaii.
Rudder was the word I was trying to think of. I could not think of that. I was like, I cannot think of that. But it looks like we got Josh back. Are you there, Josh? Can you hear
I'm finally here. Sorry about all that.
No, it's all right. You didn't miss a whole lot, but
I was actually
interesting
listening to it on
information
Facebook.
though, for sure.
Just having some problems with my laptop. That's all. But I'm on my cell phone, so I'm here. And I apologize.
Yeah, no worries, not at all. Like I said, I'm still just amazed by what you two are going to attempt. And the other question too is, how many other teams are there supposed to be out there?
So it is a race. There will be other boats. We don't know the exact number yet, but we're expecting about, I want to say 8 to 10 other boats out there with us. We'll all launch at the same time, but we likely won't see the other boats for more than the first 12 hours or so of the race, just because, we are so small out there and we're all taking a slightly different course. But yeah, there will be other boats out there at the same time competing.
Okay, nice. I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, it's like you're in a race, but at the same time, you feel like you're basically racing against yourself, it seems like.
Yeah, so it'll be really important for us to get updates from our land crew. And these are support members that we'll have on land. They'll help us let us know what the weather is, what it's predicted to be, also where the other crews are in the race, just so we know kind of how we fit within them.
Cool. I have another
launch date. When do y'all actually leave?
June 8th, 2024. So 6 months.
So it'll be in the summertime.
Yep, 6 months out.
And are you kind of leaving out a San Francisco area or somewhere around there, or
Monterey Bay, California.
Okay, Green Bay.
Monterey Bay.
Where?
Monterey Bay.
Monterey Bay. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's like near San Francisco, like I believe south of San Francisco.
Okay.
There's a great golf course out there that I'd love to play.
Yeah.
Well, this is your opportunity. You can bring your golf clubs and then send us a farewell.
Oh, yes.
Hey, we'd love to send you some Obsolete Orange merchandise. Maybe y'all could advertise it for us.
Well, that was one of the things you kind of missed when you got dropped out of the thing, was that they need some more orange on their boat.
Oh, we'll get you some. We'd love to have a sign, or we send you some shirts and stuff. So that'd be great.
We also offer bronze sponsors. We offer different sponsorship packages, which allow you to get your logo and name on our boat. That way you can say you rode across the Pacific Ocean too. And that's a really incredible way to help support our journey. Yeah. And for individuals, we additionally have a 250 club. So it's $250 to get your name or your face or a quote on our boat. And this is actually really, really huge in our crossing, because like Anna had mentioned, it is so monotonous. It is so boring out there. And we're really just, anything we can draw our attention to, we will. And having the opportunity to have those names and those faces on our boat of everyone who really helped make this possible is, one, inspiring, and two, just, something fun to do while you're out there. Because really it will just be Anna and I in that boat. But as we're learning more and more as we're going through this campaign, it takes a village. There are so many different hands involved in helping us get to the start line, and so grateful for everyone, and those in the Clemson community especially, who have already joined our club. But we are so grateful for anyone who is able to donate in any capacity on our website.
Yeah, we'd love to. And we'll promote it on our site too. We'll get you guys on our website, and we'll promote it on our Facebook page.
Actually, I have another question from another Facebook user here. What about the risk of the shipping canals? Any way to contact the barges or other vessels, especially coming from Florida to Charleston?
That's a really good point. So it's funny they asked that question. It's a great question, because when we actually set off for the race, we have a piece of paper in front of us and they make us sign pretty much a contract, right? And it says, are you willing to risk colliding with other boats? Are you willing to risk injury? And are you willing to risk capsizing? Yes, yes, yes. Are you willing to risk even death? And we say yes, we sign it because we're about to embark on this huge journey. But out there in the Pacific, the shipping lanes and things, we will actually have an AIS system. And this is an intelligence system on our boat, which it lets us contact and communicate with any boats that are nearby in the area. So on my Atlantic crossing, my brother and I, we often saw big boats and cruise ships and cargo ships in the distance. And we just prayed that they didn't get too close to us. But as Jenny said, it's very boring out there. So one night, my brother was asleep in the cabin, and I see these big lights kind of coming towards us. I'm like, I wonder how close it can get before, we have to get on the radio and say, please divert. So
I'd be afraid of sharks.
A little close. So I got on the radio and I called with the correct terminology, and they actually got close enough to be able to see us. And the one question from the ship's captain was, how do you live like this? And then he said, God bless, and out. And so we'll actually have less traffic in the Pacific than we will kind of in that training row from Jacksonville up to Charleston. That will likely be more difficult, actually, than the real trip itself. But definitely a critical aspect. And we make sure we have all our lights on so people can see us.
Yeah, I bet that could be a little scary right there, seeing one of those big ships coming by.
Anna, what was your response?
I cannot remember, but probably something like, yeah, we're pretty crazy. Or with great difficulty, I think, is how we survive, with a lot of difficulty. But, yeah.
So y'all must get along pretty well if y'all spend 60 days with each other.
Better.
Now, what's one of the things that y'all are gonna do to kind of take your mind off of the stress of everything? Like, is there a board game or some type of game you're planning to play?
I don't know. We'll be playing many board games, but definitely a lot of music, podcasts. You can only bring so much on that boat. You really need to be conscious of how much weight you're bringing, but maybe we'll bring like a little tennis ball or something like that. You really just need to get creative. Like, you're going to need to use your imagination while you're out there and almost be like a kid again and have fun with those like little trinkets, little toys, looking at the logos on your boat. We're not gonna, our luxuries out there are quite different than the luxuries we have in our lives on the daily basis. So, everything we bring on that boat needs to be an essential piece of kit. Maybe a tennis ball falls into there as what we consider essential, but we won't have too many games.
So no TikTok dance trends.
We might do a little dancing, but
yeah, maybe one of us will, as long as we're harnessed onto the boat, or else I think very quickly one of us would fall out.
We won't actually be standing up much out there, so sea legs will be a very real thing when we arrive into Hawaii, because although we are, we're working out all day, we're rowing all day, we're not using any of those muscles in our calves or our legs, because at most we're taking, probably 1 to 2, maybe 5 steps a day. And a lot of it's just kind of like crawling around in the boat. You're not even really standing up.
So you can't walk too much in 24 feet.
Right. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't even think about that. That's just, you just put another thing in my mind, like not being able to walk around for almost 60 days. I think you said it's going to possibly take.
Yeah.
I can't imagine just sitting down for almost 60 days straight, not being able to walk, stand.
Definitely get a sore bum.
24 feet. That's like 2 basketball goals. How wide is it? I mean,
Our
do y'all
boat is
have
about
like,
5 feet in width, and
do you
we
have like a normal?
actually, even though we don't walk, often everyone's like, I gotta get my steps in. So we actually burn calories sitting down, which is quite impressive, and we end up burning about 10,000 calories a day. So
You got to
that's
teach me your ways on how to sit down and burn calories.
Give you 2 oars, and I'm sure you'll figure it out.
I guess,
So no
yeah,
TV.
that makes, yeah.
Do you
Oh,
have
man.
some sort of bed in there or something, or how's that set up?
So one cabin will be our designated sleeping quarters.
Okay.
And we've actually partnered with a company called Engineered Sleep in Greenville, South Carolina.
Okay.
And they're working on creating us some custom mattress and seat cushions for our cabin and for our seats. So, having a little bit of cushion in there will be really helpful. Having something that's also waterproof is huge because we're going to be out on deck and probably get quite wet. And then when we come in, we want to keep the cabin as dry as possible. So trying to, you don't want to bring anything that's going to hold on to water and get moist in there.
Right.
Now, are you going to sleep at the same time, or is it alternating sleep?
So the goal is to keep our boat moving 24/7. As Jenny said, the beginning is a really tough conditions. So we might change that shift pattern from 2 hours on, 2 hours off to 6 hours on and less hour time off. And both of us be on the oars perhaps for longer and together. But ultimately, as soon as we get into our rhythm and feel what's comfortable and what's working for us, then it will likely be the 2 hours on, 2 hours off where we'll rotate. And because it's such a short amount of time that you get to sleep, it's critical that, you're on the oars right away when it's time for your shift, or else that could cause some major tension on our boat. So we just want to make sure that we are waking up, and I'm sure Jenny will yell very loudly at me to wake up and vice versa. So amidst the waves and the sound of the ocean.
Yeah, I think you said the beginning is going to be the roughest, and that's because of the weather in Monterey Bay, because I know it can be kind of rough sometimes there.
Yeah, so they're called the Santa Ana currents, and these are just pushing you south towards Mexico. So we obviously want to go west, which means we're going to have a huge crosswind, and that's just going to mean we're going slower. And we don't want to get pushed too far south, because if we do, it's going to be quite difficult to get that distance back north as we get closer to Hawaii.
Now, how many miles off the coast do you have to, in a sense, be to where you don't have to worry about that drift south?
It'll take about 2 to 3 weeks. So probably a third of the crossing itself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you watch our dot tracker, you might question, where are they going? They look like they're going the wrong way, because it's likely we'll be actually pointing north during the first portion of our race, and that's really to combat those currents and make sure we don't get pushed too far south before we start heading west.
Yeah, that can make sense. I'm definitely gonna pull up that website and try to keep track of you guys. I'm still, like I said, even after talking to you guys for this long, I'm still like, wow, I just can't imagine the mental and physical, challenge that you guys have ahead of you guys. Like I'm still, trying to get my head around this. I can't. You guys, I mean, more power to you. I mean, man.
Well, we absolutely love sharing the story, and we just hope to inspire other females and males, everywhere. So not only do we want to raise money for Hear Her Roar, but we also just want to raise awareness of what people can do and what our bodies can do in our minds. Like Jenny and I are just two very normal student athletes who had a dream, and we've gone on and we are going on to do bigger things, and we hope that other people can follow suit in that. We are available for whether it's at children's schools or churches or local community networks to talk more and share more about our story and the challenge itself. So if there is a network that you guys have or any of the listeners have that they would want us to come and talk to and present more pictures and videos about life at sea and in the ocean and the lessons that we've kind of learned along the way, then we're more than happy to do that. We want to get the Clemson and the community involved as much as possible.
Now, Anna, you're from England, is that correct?
Yes.
And Jenny, where are you from?
From New Jersey.
So how'd y'all hear about Clemson?
I was just about to ask that question, Josh. I was literally, hold on, let me quote a famous coach. What made you guys pick Lil Old Clemson?
You can go.
So for me, I was visiting my brother in Atlanta, and I was a junior in high school at that time. I hadn't even actually heard of Clemson, but I remember like I was Googling different colleges, and my mom was like, "Hey, like Clemson, it's nearby. You want to go check it out?" So we drove on over from Atlanta. I remember we just rolled up onto campus, and I happened to roll by one of like the tours, and my mom was like, get out, go join them. So like I jumped out of the car and I joined some random tour that was going on. And at that point, like the campus is just so beautiful. I had applied to so many schools in the North, and ultimately I was like, I just want to be somewhere where it's beautiful and sunny and everyone's nice and cordial. And it was really the vibes of Clemson. Of course, I was going for biomedical engineering, and they have a great program. So that obviously influenced it as well. But I think I really chose it because I love the school spirit. I love, the all in orange. I love the Clemson football games. There's just something about when everyone is all in Clemson all the time. It's really like the only place you can go. And, there's paw prints lining the roads, and everyone's in orange and purple, and no one blinks an eye. And it's a really great place. So having that, and then, I wasn't even planning on rowing at that time. I didn't know what rowing was. I didn't even know, it was a sport. But I had played a lot of different sports growing up, and, they were having walk-on tryouts, and I said, why not? And yeah, here we are today. So
Nice.
And then for myself, I can't compete with Jenny's story because that's awesome that you had the luxury of at least seeing Clemson before you attended. I did not. So I, growing up, went to the most British boarding school. If anyone's seen Harry Potter, I basically was Hermione Granger. And I said to my parents, my mom's American and my dad's English. And I grew up in England, but always came to America for holidays and stuff. And I said to my parents, I was like, I've had an amazing education, but I want to have fun too. And so I Googled some universities in America, and Clemson came top of mind for school spirit, fun, community, hospitality, Greek life, academics, and also athletics, because I did want to continue my passion for rowing. My parents were like, well, I don't know if like America's really far away and it's very expensive to go to school, like university in America. And
now you can just say it's just a row away.
Yeah, exactly. But then I applied without my parents knowing, and I got accepted. And then I remember telling my mom, I was like, Mom, like I've been accepted to America. She was like, oh, okay, like let's tell Dad. And then I tell my dad's still like, I don't know. So then I show him on YouTube some Clemson videos. And of course, it's the roaring stadium for football games. And I just remember standing in our living room with the YouTube on the TV, learning the Clemson Tiger chant.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
So,
we might do that tonight.
And then that Christmas, I think I asked, or like that birthday, I asked for cowboy boots. And my parents were like, okay, she's going to America, I think. And then, yeah, now I'm grateful to have had the best college experience in the world.
That's awesome. Well, I don't know if your dad or your mom is a soccer fan, but they can now claim another national championship for our Soccer United.
Well done to Clemson Soccer for that championship.
And that brings me to the women's side of things. I can't say how excited I am that we finally got a women's softball team.
Oh yeah, they're good.
And they're good. Yeah,
Really?
that's the thing. Usually you don't see a new sport take off, and women's softball has, I mean, man.
It's done well.
Yeah, it's really exciting
Fun
to
watch, too.
see, them developing these other women's sports. And that's one of the initiatives that Hear Her Roar is a huge part of, is providing those resources and the support for those other athletics within women's sports.
Well, like I said, I'm so glad that I got to meet you guys, because I never really heard of the Hear Her Roar. And it's like one of those things that I'm now going to try and, tell all my friends, all my family, like, hey, you got to go, check this out, So I'm so happy that I finally found that. And I think that's a wonderful thing for the university. And I think it's great that you guys are promoting that and whatnot. And then you said, what's the website for donations for you guys?
So our team is United Row. So you can just Google United Row, and we're called United Row because I'm from the United Kingdom, Jenny's from the United States, and we want to stand united with our sponsors, supporters, and everyone who gets involved. And our website is just unitedrow.org. And you can donate on there. You can see the tracker come June. And you can also learn more about the challenge. You can reach out to us if you have any further questions or just want to get in touch with us. And if you're looking for the best Christmas present, then we actually have co-branded long sleeve shirts with Sport Life, and those are available to purchase.
Yeah, I saw that on your website, and I was like, wow, I actually like that shirt. I might have to get myself one of those.
They're super comfortable.
They're super comfortable, vibrant in colors. It actually has a picture of our little rowing boat on there, and obviously all the proceeds go to a great cause. So if you're looking for that last minute present, go grab one.
Now, do you guys still stay around Clemson, or are you guys living somewhere else now?
We're both living in Florida now.
Jacksonville.
Well, okay. I'm in Jacksonville, and Anna's in Venice, Florida. So we come up when we can, but yeah, we're primarily training out in Florida right now.
What year did y'all graduate?
I was 2017.
17. So you're around during Trevor,
Jenny's 18.
Lawrence, and ETN, and
Yep.
So you're a Jacksonville fan now?
Of course, go Jags.
It's just funny how, Clemson players go to a team and all of a sudden, we're a Jacksonville fan, we're a Raiders fan, we're, wherever. But yeah, I feel for Jacksonville now.
Yeah,
I can't believe he followed me though. No, I'm kidding.
Huh?
My son is a huge Travis Etienne fan, and he has been begging me to bring him to Jacksonville on the 31st to watch Jacksonville play the Panthers.
You should come down.
Well, it's the same weekend. Clemson's playing in the bowl game, so
yeah, isn't Clemson playing in the Jag Stadium soon?
Yeah, they're playing on the 29th, that Friday at 12 p.m. Against Kentucky. And then that Sunday, the Charlotte Panthers, or Carolina Panthers, excuse me, are playing Jacksonville Jaguars. So, well, it was really good to meet you guys. I can't say enough on how much I am excited to hear you guys go that journey, and I'm actually kind of excited to watch you do the journey now. So, and I'm definitely going to be promoting the Hear Her Roar, and I think that is a great program. So anybody out there listening, definitely check out the Hear Her Roar, and definitely go check out the unitedrow.org, if I got that correct this time.
You got it. We also, if you want to follow our journey to the start line, you can check out our Instagram at united.row.
There you go. I think I am all out of questions. I think you've answered in anything that I could imagine. And I mean, I've been sitting here trying to rack my brain of what else I could ask, and I think you guys answered everything. So I'm excited for you guys, and I'm one of your biggest fans now.
Thank you so much. And as always, go
Tigers! Y'all want to do Tiger chant?
Say what, Josh?
You want to do Tiger chant to end it?
Oh, hey, yeah, yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
C-L-E-M-S-O-N-R-S. Fight turn.
Fight.
Thank you.
I
Thank
think
you
we're
guys for
a
coming
little
on.
out
We
of
really
sync,
appreciate
but we
this.
got it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, our rowing Jenny is a little more in sync than on Tiger John.
We're going to promote you all over
I
our
think
group.
it's the connection. We're all on a little different wavelength.
Well, guys, it was really great to meet you, Anna and Jenny, and I can't stress enough. Best wishes, good luck, and
appreciate it.
happy rowing or calm seas. I don't even know what the proper term is.
Go Tigers.
Go
Thank you
Tigers.
so much.
Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Bye.
Yeah, and we'll download you to the YouTube channel, and we'll share it amongst all the social media, and we'll actually include you in the next article that we write.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Sorry about all the technical difficulties. I don't know what happened there, but we're good.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good night and happy trails.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.